Hi, I am J.A. Giunta, and I am author of The Warden's Legacy.
Cut. All right.
So it started with Dungeons and Dragons. I had like a really extensive baseball card collection, like expensive cards from the 50s that I'd been collecting for years, and I traded them all for the basic edition Dungeons and Dragons box set, which just came with 2 pamphlets and a little short adventure. It was like $10, but I didn't have any money at the time. So it started when I was 11. A friend had told me about Dungeons and Dragons, and me and my neighbor and my brother, and we wanted to play, but we didn't have any of the stuff. So all I really had that was worth any money was my baseball card collection. And they were really rare cards that I'd been collecting for years, probably worth a lot of money now. And I traded the entire collection for a $20 box set of Dungeons and Dragons books. It probably wasn't a good investment then, but I mean, looking back, I've got 7 books done now. So we started with that, the very basic adventure, and we didn't have any money to buy more adventures, so I just wrote my own. And that's how I started, outlining what the adventure and the characters people were going to meet, and the rooms that they would go, like every room they would go into, like what's going to be there, like traps and treasure and monsters.
You have logic going into your thought process, your creative process, which is very unique because when you speak to creatives, they're all over the place. One of their biggest hurdles is trying to rein in their ideas. So how do you find that your analytics plays into your creative process?
Right. So my process is all about planning. So I will not put any words to paper until I know how the book ends. So I have to know how it starts, I have to know how it ends, and then I'll create a timeline of events. And those events will become the scenes that will make up the chapters. It's uncommon for people to plan as much as I do. And it's not like it's written in stone. Like when I have my outline, if I have ideas that come to me, and I do, I always have ideas that come as I'm going. I'll include them, and I'll find a way to work them in.
What are some of the issues, the obstacles, the challenges that you do come across as you write?
As I write, well, I would say the biggest obstacle that I have is when I'm not writing, and it's because when I'm not writing, I hate writing. It's so much work, and I just don't want to do it, and so I put it off, I procrastinate. But once I start, then it just comes easy, and everything kind of flows.
What are some ways that you as a creative overcome that procrastination?
It just builds over time, the urge to write, because once I've written something, I really like when the book is done. I like that. I'm proud of my books. It's just so much work that I hate doing. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and so I kind of hate starting new projects. But once I start, it's kind of fun. But like I said, I have a bad memory, and so I don't really remember the fun parts when I'm not writing a book.
You mentioned that there's a rush of creativity once you finally sit down and allow yourself to write. What does that creative rush feel like for you?
It's the difference between typing 60 words a minute and 120 words a minute. So once I start, it goes fast. Because once I have my outline, my scenes are all outlined. Once everything's all planned and I actually start to write, it goes really fast. So I could finish a book, start to finish, in 3 months. Fully edited, it's done, and that's 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's not even a full-time job. That's how fast it goes once it's planned. It's the planning process that takes most of the time for me. It feels great. It's just that once I'm done, I'm tired, kind of exhausted, I guess, and then I'll forget what it felt like, and then I'll put off the next project. I'll have all these really good altruistic, there's oh yeah, I'm gonna start working on the next one while I have this momentum. And I just never do. I'll get distracted by a video game or something.
When you're typing at 120 miles per hour, do you ever take breaks? Do you have to pace yourself? No. Do you have to isolate yourself from family members, friends?
Okay. Yeah. No, I can't write when other people are in the room. I need quiet, isolation, no people. I'm completely focused while I'm writing, which is why I only write for short periods. I get tired when I'm done. So 4 or 5 hours tops per session. Every session is always going to be the same. I will already have the scene planned out. I will go back and line edit the previous scene first. If there was none, because it's the first, then I'll just start. And then I write the scene. And then when I finish the scene, that's it. I'm done for the day. I go walking every day. So I'll read the scene before I go walking, and then I'll think about it. And then if I get ideas, like I'll be writing in my head. I'm always writing in my head, especially in the shower for some reason. Like full sentences that I'll have to remember later on. But yeah, while I'm walking, think about the scene, and then get home real quick to write it all down.
So instead of singing in the shower, you write in the shower.
Yeah. I also write while I'm sleeping, which is kind of strange.
Can you describe that a bit more? How do you write while you sleep?
Just like ideas will come to me, and I'll, I get full sentences. Like sometimes it feels like I'm not even the one doing the writing, which is probably why I have such a bad memory and I don't really remember what I've written. Whenever I start a new book, I have to go back and reread my books. So I gotta remember what I wrote and how I write. Because if I read someone else's books, I kind of take on like every writer has their own way of doing things. And if I read someone else's book before I start a new one, I'll kind of write like they do.
How do you combat that to protect your own creative process?
Yeah, I don't read other people's stuff while I'm writing my books, and I will go back and reread my own stuff to kind of get a feel for how I do things. I don't know. It's not because I'm trying to portray a certain style. I don't want to mimic other people. So yeah, I mean, I reread my own stuff to remind me.
So Joe, I hear that you actually made a film script. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So yeah, I was asked if I could create something that would be kind of simple to film, but like single location, and still kind of a compelling story. And I kind of have a hard time with short works, like shorts. I have a really hard time with short stories because it's so limiting. You know, you got to be done in 12 pages, and it doesn't seem like a lot to work with. So, and I've never written a script before. Like I did my best. I chose a single location, and the idea that I came up with was that there's an alien artifact that a researcher is working on, and it's trying to persuade him to help because it's sentient. And the way that it does this is by splintering his personality until he kind of breaks to the point where he wants to help. And he doesn't know that this is happening. So, I mean, this is huge spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. So the scenes are just him at his kitchen table playing cards with himself. And, you know, to his girlfriend, it just looks like he's like playing solitaire or whatever, but he's actually talking and having conversations with other personalities in his head. And I took, there was like a psychological premise where parts of your personality are represented. I don't remember, like they have actual definitive descriptors for parts of your personality. So I took those, like I borrowed it, whatever it was, that system, and I actually created the characters based on that system, so that each of the people who he splintered into was like defined like by those psychological roles. They persuade him to help the artifact. And of course, yeah, he gets in trouble at the end, but.
So Joe, tell us about your latest book. Is it available? And if so, where is it?
Oh, yeah, Warden's Legacy came out last March, I believe. It's available online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Some local bookstores are carrying it. You can order directly from Brick Cave. So the premise for this book that I started with is I wanted to know what it would be like to write from a dragon's perspective. Like, how does a dragon perceive the world? So I always try to come up with some kind of a twist, something that kind of pulls. So like for Last Incarnation, the twist was how I wrote the visions from his past lives. And in this one, it's the dragon kind of has a synesthesia, which is all of his perceptions combined to create a single image. So he'll see smells and hear colors and things like that. So it was from that premise that I built the story. He's a young dragon. Dragons have destroyed the world, the dragons before him. And he's trying to save the world, bring it back, kind of redeem his race. And there's huge twist at the end that I can't talk about, but it's really big and I like it.
You mentioned earlier that it can be a struggle to really get into your next book. Are you in the process of writing another novel right now?
So the next book is supposed to be a sequel to Supernal Dawn, which is our hero story that I wrote with Sharon. I've got notes, I've got ideas, I know where things are supposed to go. I don't necessarily know where the second book is going to end, which is why I haven't started writing, because I won't until I know. But yeah, I have vague ideas of what I want to happen in book 2 and book 3. There will be a third one, which is wrapping up. But that's supposed to be the next. And then I also have notes and plans for a sequel to the Ascension trilogy, which will be a new story that a few years later that will follow the children of all the main characters. Because the very last chapter of the third book, all of the main characters kind of had children. So the next book will follow them.